Historically, action has not been taken to expose sex offenders. Sex offenders started being registered in 1994. Today, there are a multitude of organizations that are available to help victims of sexual abuse. Some people believe they deserve a second chance. However, pedophiles should be seriously punished due to the horrific social problems and school issues they create with their actions. The only way to ensure that sexual abuse rates decrease is by stronger laws and unrelenting penalties. Current laws are not enough. Missouri's Law 566.071 states that any touching of another person's reproductive organs to evoke that sexual desire of someone aged 4 to 17 is child molestation. The law proves that touching of somebody is child molestation and that the molester should be heavily punished no matter the age of the victim. In Missouri, the governor specified he would reduce capital punishment for people who meet the law's definition for retardation. Just because the law labels someone as retarded does not mean that they should be tried as one. To prove my point, Cooey, who had a troubled life, who lived in Homosassa periodically, people believe it is okay to molest children because they lived a troubled past. The criminal has to have prison or jail time based on the sentence. Molesters should spend a long time in prison no matter what the judge rules. Missouri legislation should write new laws for child molestation that make laws the most strict of everyone no matter who they are. Sexual abuse cases are a major problem in America socially. Getting caught at work is a problem. Strachan was caught at work. Strachan's computer was taken to the repairman and he saw nasty photos of children. Strachan deserves a punishment for what he has on his hard drive. Lewis explained Strachan had sent messages to Rennie indicating that he was not only looking at child sex abuse images, but abusing them also. Strachan and Rennie were sending messages talking about abusing the children, which is a reason why they deserve a cruel punishment. Strachan tells Rennie about a 2- and 4-year-old he found and is ready to split them, between the two of them. They are nasty men and deserve to rot in prison. Rennie's email starts with KP lover, or kitty porn lover is what it means. And Rennie's email's name should be a sign that his needed checked. Strachan bragged about a good time he had with an infant. Cops discovered a photo of someone that age molesting a child around January 1st. Child molesters like Strachan deserve a punishment because he sexually abused a child. The court sentenced Strachan for life for abusing the infant. Strachan got what he deserved for molesting an infant. A finding led to many imprisonments in the case of men encountering to trade naughty pictures and brag on their deed. These men socially messed up the kids' lives from sharing their pictures back and forth online. There are many more social problems it causes. Molesting at the family member's house and the father doing it is also a problem. London lived a hard life. When she would go to her aunt's house and her aunt's boyfriend was there, when London's aunt would leave, her uncle would call her into the room and tell her it was going to be all right and to not tell her aunt and try to touch up on her. And when she said stop, he would not. Taylor kept her abuse from a family secret for 2 decades. Taylor had to live with abuse almost her whole life, so her abuser should go to jail. After the 2 decades, she waited. She found it in herself to tell people. The father doing the abusing is also an issue. The father reportedly had sex, malnourished, and abused his identical girls, locked 2 doors and beds for many years. The way the father treated his daughters ruined their lives, and he deserves a long life in prison. He also parented children with one of his daughters, and both of their kids have a disability. A man who has a children as a result of incest should go to jail because they have to live with their disabilities that they didn't ask for. Family members and fathers are nothing different than a stranger molesting them. There are also other cases where they got kidnapped from their house. Another issue regarding sexual crime and abuse is kidnapping. Kids also get kidnapped from their house, and that is a problem in America. Cooey is a case where people just drop in and take a kid. Cooey went in the front door and took the almost asleep girl and dragged her to his trailer. Because of people like Cooey, no one can feel safe in their homes. Cops have no idea how long Jessica was alive, but do say she was raped. Cooey screwed up the Lunsfords' lives because he took that little girl and assaulted her, and no one could find her. Meadows tells that Cooey was arrested 24 times, a 1991 conviction for fondling a child younger than 16. He was also fired for writing a sexually explicit love letter to a 14-year-old co-worker. Cooey messed up many lives and should have stayed in jail and not got out. People just walk in their homes of others and take their children, and they should be punished for that. Molestation is also happening in schools. At Horace Mann, 63 students were sexually abused, and Siger was one of the many. 63 students were sexually abused at school, and that shows an institutional problem. Siger was chronically sexually abused during his time at the school. He remembers he was not agreeable with the situation. Child molesters have such neglect towards the personal space of the victims, and they should be punished. Past supervisions has heard of 25 abuses and never told a cop. Horace Mann's supervision was 25 times about sexual abuse, and the teachers never got fired. As a result, Horace Mann fired the staff that was abusing the students. Horace Mann fired staff to cover up the sexual abuse. Just because it is a school does not mean there is no less of a chance of molesting happening. On the other hand, some may believe child molesters should get a second chance. From psychological perspectives, most people who molest the children fall under four categories, and one is adults who have brain conditions. That should not matter if they have a brain condition. In Cooey's case, he was an angry man and had no regret for what he would do, and when he would get arrested, he would laugh. People say they can go through aversion therapy to get better. Aversion therapy pairs an unpleasant shock, pinch, or flick with a pleasant stimulus. It poses a problem because therapists cannot shock patients. If therapists cannot shock patients, then why is it an option? In the case of Lunsford's, Mark Lunsford wants him to take what he did and take the death penalty. New laws should be implemented on sex offenders to keep them in custody longer and giving harsh penalties. Schools issues are also a big issue and do not think about it happening there. They think of school as a safe place, but in some cases, it is not. Getting kidnapped and raped from the home is terrifying, and it sadly is a problem in our society. Family members raping their family is also a big deal, and it makes people feel unsafe to leave their kids with their family. The majority of cases were solved and put into jail. Do not hesitate and tell what you know.